Hi guys, my name's Abby and I am a rising sophomore at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am a neuroscience and behavioral biology major and English minor on the pre-med track. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about 7 things that I wish I knew before I applied to college. And I know what you guys are thinking, like you probably just finished junior year if you're watching this, and you probably had like the most stressful academic year of your life. Like I know my junior year, I took like 5 APs, I was so burnt out by the end of the year and I just wanted to chill out for the whole summer and not do anything. But I promise you, starting early is the key to like surviving senior year, because you don't want all these like college applications piling up at the very end right before you have to submit. So I won't say that these tips will guarantee you admission to any college, but I think they will definitely improve your chances because you'll have everything organized and you won't be scrambling at the last minute like I did. So let's get into it.
Hi guys, so I'm going to switch to Zoom so you guys can see my screen while I talk, and I'm going to start off this video with my favorite tip, and please do this. Also, if you're not a rising senior and you're taking the PSAT and they ask you to sign up for newsletters for colleges, this is really, really important. So if you don't know already, usually when you take the PSAT, you have an option to check a box. And once you check that box, it's like a death sentence, because after that, colleges will like nonstop send you emails about admissions, and it's literally like hundreds of colleges. And I like to this day, as a college student, I've like unsubscribed to so many of them, but I still get like so many emails from random colleges that like I'm not interested in, and it's like very spammy. So my biggest tip is making a new email account for college admissions. So if you're a younger student, then make this account early and use this for your PSAT like newsletter so you can like look at it and it won't interfere with your other emails. If you're a rising senior, then this is also good because even if your other email is getting bombarded by all those like additional college emails from PSAT, this is really good because let's say that your FAFSA wasn't filled out and it's like buried by all your other emails and you can't find it. This is a way to prevent that because all your college things are in one email. So here is an example of my college exclusive email. And as you can see, every single email that I received is from a college, and a lot of them are about like my application status or newsletters. And so that goes into my second part of this first tip is I think a really helpful thing, even though they do like spam your email a lot, is to sign up for college newsletters. So one that I pulled up from my school, Emory, that I noticed, for example, would be really helpful for a interested applicant is they said this one that says, Abby, how do we make Emory affordable? And I think a lot of colleges send out newsletters like this that like, can, show you what the school is like, show you some things that you may have not known about the school. They may send links to webinars, and I know those are super helpful. And even, for schools like Tulane that show or want to see a lot of demonstrated interest from an applicant, that's really helpful if you like have those emails and you go to those webinars. My last part of this tip is that I think a really valued part of admissions in colleges is how they have admission blogs most of the time. So I know I read a lot of articles from Tufts University's admissions because they have a lot of great writers that show you not only inside Tufts admissions, but give you advice on admissions in general and like how to write essays, like the importance of SAT and ACT scores and things like that. So again, I'm going to pull up a blog post from Emory. And let's say you're struggling with essay writing, because I know I was for a really, really long time. This is key. I know a lot of college blogs have this, and Emory is no exception. So what they do is they post like the admissions officers' like favorite essays from the last admission cycle. So like we have this entire essay here that you can refer to. And another thing that they add at the bottom is what the admission staff like about it. So from this, you can see they're looking for people who have a beautiful use of language in their essays. They're successful in navigating their past while being thoughtful and reflective. See, these are like key things that they're looking for. And you can open up a document on Google Drive and write down these notes of like what admission offers really like about certain essays. And there's not only one, there's like so many. They literally have a series. And not only does it give you like a look inside admissions, but it may inspire you to write your own essay or find a topic for your own essay. Because I know that I read one essay from this series and it inspired my Emory essay. No, I'm not saying like do not copy essays because obviously that's plagiarism, but sometimes reading really good essays does inspire good topics for your own essay. So I definitely encourage this. And if you guys need links to any of these things, I will be providing it, or you could DM me. I will have my contact at the end of this video. So another part of admissions that I also think is really nice is actually social media. So I know a lot of people don't use social media like Instagram, Facebook, but if you do, I actually found that following colleges' Instagram pages and Facebook pages is very useful. I know for the Emory admissions Instagram, they have a weekly series where they have 2 admission officers talk about like the inside of Emory admissions and also do like Q&As with people who come. And I think a lot of other colleges also do that, so keep an eye out. Also, one thing that I really like is when you look at their social medias, especially for like the official school account, not just like the admissions account, it shows you like an insight into the school, like what the alumni are up to, what like major organizations are doing, what students have been winning as like awards. And also maybe like if you can't come to campus, they usually post a lot of pretty pictures of the college, so you can kind of get like a view of like what it looks like. And also, yeah, virtual tours. I recommend that if you can't go in person this year because of COVID. So as I said before, if you're already using social media, it's so easy to just click follow. For example, they show what students do outside of campus, and I think that's a really big and important like factor to consider when you're looking at colleges is like what there is to do outside of campus and the surrounding area. They've shown recent awards. I think our tennis team won a championship recently. And this is what I was mentioning before, is that the admission officers do Instagram lives where they answer your questions and go over important topics that aren't really discussed in like a lot of webinars. Like, for example, they ask or they cover what to do this summer. There's other things like what the food is like, what the campus is like, and other things like student life. And lastly, it's a nice reminder. They show you when regular decision deadlines are. And yeah, so that's it. Fun fact about me, I was supposed to apply regular decision RD to University of Rochester, and I actually couldn't because I forgot that the deadline was a certain day and I missed it. And I also didn't realize that they required supplements, and I also missed that. So I couldn't even apply to the college. And I want to prevent that from happening for you guys. So what I suggest you guys do is make a spreadsheet either on Excel or Google Sheets. And my first column here, I did school, then I did type of application because there's like the Coalition app, there's the Common app, which most of the colleges take. And then some schools, like usually state schools, like for example, my state school is Rutgers, they use their own portal / application. You want to put your decision type. So for example, if you're playing ED, it's probably going to have an earlier deadline. And there's also EA, RD rolling, and other things like restrictive early action. And then usually I know a lot of schools are going test optional this application cycle, but if you do have to submit your ACT/SAT, they usually have a deadline to submit that by. And I also had a column where I checked off if I did submit it or not. I mean, this is a hypothetical spreadsheet that I just made for you guys, so this wasn't actually like my spreadsheet, but also put your application deadline so you know when it's due, yes or no, app submitted. And I want to add this too. A lot of colleges have scholar deadlines. So for example, for Emory, let's say you were deciding to do regular decision, and I believe that's due like usually around January. But if you wanted to be eligible for Emory scholars, you have to apply by November 15th. So for example, let's say you really want to be an Emory scholar, you want to be eligible, so you would put your scholar deadline here. And also, some schools ask for supplementals. So I know when I applied to college, I was requested by the Department of Music by Emory to submit a recording of me playing my flute because I wrote on my common application that I had played flute for like 8 years. So those also have deadlines, and you can add those too. FAFSA and CSS, you should have those filled out, yes or no. And usually you don't know the results date and the accept by until like you're really close to results, which like for RD is usually around like April, but you can put these on your spreadsheet later into the cycle and any additional notes. And you can format this any way you would like, but this is just how I would have set it up. You can add columns as much as you like. And if you guys want like this template, then I could totally give that to you. Another spreadsheet that I would recommend making is for your essays and your extracurriculars. So I know in high school I wasn't very like Excel sheet / like Google Sheet savvy, so I preferred to make Google Documents instead and just list things. I don't know, that was just easier for me. So this is another example of something you could do. You could also use like a Google document for your deadlines and stuff. So I made this fake like profile for a person. So you can keep track of all your extracurriculars, because the common application has 10 slots for extracurriculars, but you don't necessarily have to fill all of those slots, but it does help to have all your extracurriculars in one place so you don't forget how long you've been doing them or how many hours a week it is or your leadership position in it. So here I wrote down this fake person's AP coursework, their extracurriculars. I highlighted their leadership positions in yellow. They have their time, or like the duration of how long they've been in this organization / role, how many hours they do it a week, and just a short description of what they do. And I would like to reiterate, I think a lot of people don't realize this, but for the extracurricular section of the Common App, you only have a small like space to describe it. Like I think it's around 250 characters, give or take. So you don't have a lot to say, so you have to be very concise. And lastly, I put honors here if you have any. I would also like to add that you can also start some supplementals early. Some schools, if you search up on Google, keep their supplemental prompts the same, so you can start thinking about your supplementals also in summer. Also, if they do happen to change their prompts, oftentimes college prompts are like very similar to each other, so you can often reuse essays for different colleges. You just have to like maybe switch the wording around a little bit if it's like it mentions like William and Mary, but you're like applying to UCLA, obviously. But I do not recommend reusing essays for like the Y college essays, if you guys know what those are. So my next tip is that you shouldn't be making a laundry list of extracurriculars. I guess this may be debatable for some people, but I personally think, and I've heard this from like admissions webinars and admission officers, is that it's better to be good in a few things than to have like a list of 10 things that you're not very involved in. So it's like quality over quantity. I think what personally helped me when I was applying to college is that I had like 3 really strong extracurriculars that I spent a lot of time in per week. Even though I didn't fill up all 10 slots with extracurriculars, I still had things that I was very committed to. And I didn't just do like surface level clubs. I actually tried to like make a change in my community or volunteer and go outside of my school to do something that mattered. My 6th tip is to be smart about where you apply to college. So I think a good starting place is to go to niche. So yes, self-promo niche, but I would start looking at the colleges tab here. And let's say that you want to go into chemistry, but you don't have like a 1500 SAT score and a high GPA. So obviously MIT would be a high reach for you. I know a lot of like websites make it so difficult because of course the top schools for your major are always like those very selective schools. But what I like about niche is that you can filter by selectivity. So let's say you're just an average student. Then options like Virginia Tech would be more, would make sense more for you and your stats. Or let's say you want a all women's college, then there's things like Collins and Agnes Scott that may be applicable for you. My last tip, my 7th tip, is to look at scholarships. I know at the end of your college app season, which is usually around like January, you're done with your applications, you just want to take a break and enjoy senioritis, but that is also the time when scholarships open, and it will really benefit you if you don't have like a pile of debt when you go into college and after college. So please look into national scholarships, local scholarships, merit scholarships. I know for some colleges, if you're like above a certain SAT score and have a certain GPA, you're already guaranteed like $10,000 off of your tuition, and that's amazing. And I think you should do research on those kind of schools if you do have good academic scores. And in addition, if you're a certain minority group, if you're a person of color, if you identify as LGBT, there are so many scholarships out there for you. I know Niche has a part of their website, see right here, called scholarships, where you can look at them. There's also a lot of no essay scholarships available. And lastly, if you're a certain income range, you may qualify for QuestBridge. Please look into QuestBridge if you are, I think, below a $60,000 family income per year. I will actually double check that. But QuestBridge has guaranteed many low-income college applicants into top colleges like Emory, right here. So I highly recommend it. It is a selective program, but they do offer like full tuition to these great colleges. So
thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys have any further questions, you can contact me. My information will be right after this little clip. And if you also have any suggestions for future videos that I can make with Niche, then you can also contact me. Thanks again. See you guys soon.